Good afternoon, everyone. This is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews, and I am your literary ambassador. And today I have a special guest on my channel. Please introduce yourself to the readers.
Hi, good morning and good morning to all. My name Jonathan Cumberbatch, your humble poet.
Okay. And what is your genre?
My job, I serve as a assistant vice president, human resources at the University of Trinidad and Tobago. Uh, I've been a I've been a professional for human resources for the past 29 years. Most of the career has served with various American multinationals, 3M Inter America, Pepsi Americas, Incorporated, and the Hilton Group, and also in the petrochemical sector. In Trinidad and Tobago is an oil-rich island, you may be aware. And I put in several years there as well in the sector. But now I'm in the phase of giving back to the country. And so at the university.
How did you start? How did you get into poetry?
Uh, that's a great question. I think, well, I always say I was an artist first. I come from my mother was an artist, so I guess the genes carried on. Uh, so it was sketchings and paintings, etc. I always thought that poetry was a natural extension of that. When sometimes you're just not in the mood for the sketching, you just write out feelings. Also, being an avid reader,
Mhm.
I make the little story. I won a book, Treasure Island, the age of 11, for an art for coming first in class in art. And I've never put down a book since. It was just so. I think it remains one of the most imaginative pieces of work out there, especially I guess for young boys. Well, everyone know. And yeah, just been reading and reading. You read from all the masters. You read the local books as well, and of course the great poems, Shakespeare. You realize that so many of the great authors themselves were poets as well. Toni Morrison, Alice Walker, uh, Hemingway, name it. They were also. It's not just the novels. They
Yes.
also found the need to just express, the themes and topics that may have just hit them, and they just wanted to put it out in a particular pentameter, in a particular way.
Okay.
So no different.
Yes. How are your poems developed?
That's another great question. Uh, Ideas come to me. Uh, the primary colors, and that I should stress on primary colors. The book speaks from an experiential point of view. One of the poems, and one I'll probably speak to, is called "To See You," and that is taken from conversations I have with my daughter, who is now grown. She lives in England, but over the years, we would meet and as they say, close down the restaurant with conversations as we would catch up. We have stayed in touch with telephone and Zoom and these type of, but they're never the same as meeting up with
Yes.
someone. And so that's an example of something that where it's a particular part of life, meeting up with a loved one, but the poem just sort of express what that felt like. Another one would be about in Trinidad, just driving to the beach, which in Trinidad is a great experience. You have to cut through several tropical valleys. And it's just the feeling that you get from that drive, even before you get to the beach, the anticipation of the beach, but also just the enjoyment. I think that one is called Drink Up. And so just little ideas, little aspects of life come to you, and sometimes the words will flow from that. That may be enough. Simple sentence someone may make in passing, and it just triggers a play on words that you can run with.
Okay. Now, please tell us about your book, Primary Colors.
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned earlier, Primary Colors is really a collection of poems. It dates back to my university years, but I would have always been reading a few of them to loved ones, family members, etc. It's really my same daughter, Jade, who in a telephone conversation once just reminded me, you're not getting any younger, and you really should put these things together and get them out into the world. So she kind of lit the fire under collecting everything and getting it to a publisher and getting it out. But to your question, yeah, primary colors just simply speaks to several recurrent, not always wonderful, recurrent experiences in the life that I just wish to put words to. The style I pull from the Hemingway school of saying more with less. I don't think I'm the only one, and many of the poems would have started as 2 or 3 legal pad size papers, but you challenge yourself to say what you're really saying with less, and then you come back to it. You could say it with less and come back to it. So many of the poems the reader will see just fall within a few lines within a page. But the idea is, and it's not a diss on people who can write extensive poems. This is just a particular style that I guess I have always been drawn to or attracted to. Morrison would mention the same thing too, and you see it in a lot of her books. She said she would spend from a week to a month on a sentence because it's something just wasn't sitting right, and it was always to get to the real essence of what you meant to say. One of the poems is about Michael Jackson. I see him as he's many things where you put him to the light, and a cautionary tale. Having said that, but had a tremendous impact, and certainly for my generation, and I'm sure for yours, etc. Regardless, and I just challenged myself. What did he really mean to you? You know, this boy in the islands, this Michael Jackson, and it whittled down to 3 lines. But those 3 lines, many people have pulled me aside. You know, it spoke so loudly. But it's all about the challenge to yourself. I could go on about the great MJ, but what did he really mean? And you really push yourself in a corner, and you'll be surprised. You can just get it down to the essence. And yeah, and primary colors in a nutshell. Yeah, it's just trying to capture experiences as they come to you, and that's the term colors. And I've always had this other thing that experiences do come with colors. There are colors that hit you green, colors that hit you gold, colors that you red, experiences that hit you, the red. And can these colors be applied? Not every poem is going to explicitly mention a color, but it just again underlines the tone of experiential poetry.
Okay. Can you guide us through the stage of a poem? Like how would you, if you were sitting down, walk us through a stage of a poem that you have written?
Oh boy. I will, as I guess just saying the final product, I usually take it easy on myself. A topic comes to mind that intrigues me. I just allow myself to write free associatively about the entire topic, see it all the way through. After that, you sit back. It could be about my mother, mother's love, and all the things I think about my mother's love to me over the years, etc. Then I will, as I said, give it some time, come back to it, start pulling from what you just wrote, the real thing, so to speak. As I said, it's a challenge to myself all the time. What are the ones that have what are the aspects of her love that have truly reverberated? I think it's ultimately the title changes to Mother's Day, which is a play on the universal Mother's Day that we have every year. And from that, I pull the pure essence of of what her actions and her words and her wisdom would have meant to me. There's one to my dad as well, and that type of thing. So yeah, I wish I could explain it more than that. I think the other part is just really where your individual quirks. I don't like to use the word talent. I just say quirks. All writers just have quirks that people either are attracted to or not. And yeah, you put it together from there.
Can you give advice to someone who wants to start writing and publishing poetry?
Yeah, what people, several people have, a couple of friends have been inspired to publish as well and to seek out publishers. I was very fortunate to, I think you need to get a good publisher. And in terms of that, there are many independent. In my case, it was Edna White. There are many independent publishers who are savvy with the modern model of getting the art out. Publication, I would have found out, is just a fraction. The manuscript is a fraction of the thing. You have to pay attention to presentation, articulation, consistency of theme. You have to pay attention. The written books themselves, as you know, the industry has changed considerably, different to the recording business. People don't flock to buy CDs, etc. as before. They go to streaming, etc. Likewise, Edna would have advised me, look into creating an audiobook version. Look into creating a YouTube of your launch, because these things are what people will likely see first or hear first of the book to make them actually go in to make the actual purchase. While putting it together, the roll up, not the roll out, just the roll up. My son Tyler, he became the videographer. The various stages of while it's still on my laptop, the day we push it forward to send to her so that the day it comes, we know we'll be notified the day it comes out on Amazon. The day we record the audiobook, he's there video recording so to see me talking. The day we do the photo shoot just for the headshots to go with the book. It's all up on the Amazon site, and everyone can have a giggle at my expense. And these are the things that are involved. There is a bit of a budget involved. You should take that into account. And yeah, the idea is, of course, get the work together, make sure it's properly edited, make sure it's quality stuff. As I said, again, dependent on a good editor, and then of course comes the rollout, which is going to require several other aspects of your energy to make sure that the book is out properly in several formats and can show its face in the market. If not necessarily compete with the Stephen Kings and the Robert Pattersons of the world, it can at least have a fighting chance and then be representative in the best sense of any type of work you would have done.
What is your writing process like?
And well, yeah, you touched on it earlier. Again, my writing process is taking up an idea, taking up something that moved me, and simply allowing myself to speak in free association. It can take up a couple pages, and then of course return into the work and return into it until I think I can edit it no further. Some people are the opposite. They would rather expand and expand. And to be fair, there are some pieces of work that do come in parts 1 and 2 and 3, and you can stretch. I haven't gotten to that territory as yet. For now, my process remains that of the as concise as possible. Speaking to emotion, speaking to whatever point I wish to express. Yeah, with as few words as possible. They really just get to the bare essence.
Okay. Can you read one of your poems and then explain it?
Sure. And I think I over-explained at the start, but the one that many people come back to is To See You. And I'll just pull it up here and speak to it. I'll start here. Across that gulf of time and distance so far, where do we meet and how will it go? You won't grow any further, but you have lived so much and more than what last, our past. Save them surprises as I want to talk into those late city lights. Change me with the insights and with your mother's love, me in awe of your committed past. You ever kind and grateful, a blessing.
Wow.
And that
was for your daughter, correct?
And that's yes.
Yes, I love it. Yes. Yes. Have you always wanted to be an author?
I wouldn't say I've always. I just had this collection of stuff that it only came into light. I had a chance meeting during lockdown with a former my former admin assistant who had migrated to the States. This is Lizelle Powder. And Lizelle had written some poetry. She was going through a tough time and had found Edna White through mutual associations in New York. And Edna had encouraged her to get her manuscript out, etc. And it just brought back, like I have this collection of poems. And maybe there's a possibility. As I sent me Edna's name, I got into contact. Edna we had a great conversation, and she really just brought, I don't know how best to put it. She really just lit a fire under not just collecting the pieces I had in several pieces of paper here and there, but just seeing something through to a proper conclusion. You have this collection of work. This is what it will take. She was very straightforward. Has remained straightforward right through. This is the journey, and this is what it will take. And are you willing to do it? She said, "Call me back when you think you're ready and fully committed to it." As I said, the manuscript is just a fraction of the entire journey to publication and distribution and promotion. And yeah, and that is it. As I said, I eventually realized I could put out a book, and I've just been gratified in the past. How long has it been? 8 months. The book has done quite well. There's been a lot of good word of mouth. It's inspired others to pursue their dream of collecting their work. And yeah, I'm really pleased. I should mention the video for the launch of the book, which is available on YouTube. Recently received a Communicator Award, which is an American award, and I guess the tropical setting gave me the inside track. It went on really well and has gotten on national television in Trinidad and that type of thing. It's really been a little engine that could, with so many people that have been helpful along the way, and I'm forever grateful.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, what sparked your initial love of poetry?
What would have sparked that? I just think just love of reading comes first. The love and appreciation and the magic of words, what words can do for you. I think I don't know how that appreciation is inculcated. I had great teachers as well throughout my college and university years, and met just great friends. I should say friends or mentors, because they were older than me, largely female, who would have mentioned, who would have put me on to Morrison, who would have put me on to Shakespeare, and these type of things. Check these people out. Many local authors, Naipaul and Selvon, and of course, Ishiguro from Japan, who keeps writing these brilliant classics, almost all 180 degrees from each other in terms of themes and topics. To me, yeah, I think reading is what reading provides the platform to show the magic of words, and that words can be used to illustrate what you feel. And this is just, if anything, this is what I've just been attempting to do with primary colors, just speaking to some things that I have felt in my years, putting words to them and sharing them with the wider world.
Would you like to share another poem with us?
Sure. I'll speak to Drink Up. The title is Drink Up. The open road and jangling chords, a coffee now and warm pasta down the road. Finding the sustenance and joy fraught with memory and threat. Finding love as given and no longer so thoughtlessly sought. So to me now, finally, to navigate the treachery, to guide all cubs through the rye, to thank and congratulate and embrace all who have traveled this far. Tweets and fireflies surround each evening to every seen day. I see you now. A warm brew or cool wine now as all is enveloped, and the day closed with thoughts of yard games and laughter to come. And that would be Drink Up.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, and again, that was inspired by trips to the beach and trips anywhere, and
Mm-hmm.
playing music while you're going and that type of thing. And it just these are the little moments in the life, we really should take a moment to appreciate it,
Yes, yes.
and in this case, try to get it down in words.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What role should a title play for a poem, and why is it important when um, writing a poem that the title should have an important role?
Well, as I said, some topics, the poem can come forward simply from a topic. There's one I have called Scars, which was a reflection on the scars on, in this case, a dining room table that has been with the family since the family began, and that the table itself features marks and scars, etc., of all the adventures and misadventures that have gone on in the home. That is a more literal sense of the title actually being incorporated and sometimes used exactly within the poem to give the reader, if anything, an anchor to the topic. There are titles, however, that may inspire. They may inspire a similar theme to the title, but there is no need to fit in the title to the words. To see you does not mention to see you, which I would have spoken at earlier, but you get the idea through the words used, where it's coming from. And you're going to see some of that in the book and of both examples, where the titles simply serve as inspiration, but share the theme that is innate in the title to that is used in the poem as well.
What book or author have influenced your writing?
Well, Papa, and there's actually a little video on the Amazon site about that, because there's no one that can be easily put. I'll mention 5. The complete short stories of Ernest Hemingway, I think, is essential to anyone who wants to write. Because Hemingway's concise style is already legendary, but the short stories themselves serve as such a broad range and all in one book of what he was capable of and what he would expand upon in his novels with his concise short sentences. This profound simplicity
Mm-hmm.
that many people try to copy, but you really can't emulate the master there. Another one that I mentioned is The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. It's her first novel, and done in her 50s, and it is staggering as to what it speaks to. Again, the use of concise language. This is a book that will just leave you. It will stop you in your tracks. It stops you in your tracks, page to page to page. It remains quite controversial. Should not be. And I just consider it an essential read, again, for anyone wanting to get into reading and reading from the classics. A third one, there's a book by Stephen King. Not he's famous for his horror novels, but of course he did one book on the art of writing called On Writing. And again, for anyone getting into reading and writing, this is an essential book. He goes into the nuts and bolts, his particular technique, his work ethic, and done with his classic vivid style of prose, which is unique to him. It is a genuine gift he has to sound as if he's just speaking to you in a spinning a yarn, but definitely a keeper. I need to represent my West Indian fellow authors, etc. Trinidad is the home of V.S. Naipaul. There's one from Naipaul I can mention called A House of Mr. Biswas, which does speak to Trinidad, and it's breakdown of society done with humor. and seriousness. And there's also Sam Selvin, a book called Ways of Sunlight, which captures the perhaps the excuse me again, which speaks to the way we speak and the way we appreciate and enjoy life in the Caribbean. I think he actually captured it on the pages best. And yeah, and then I think that I think any top five would be incomplete without mentioning 100 Years of Solitude, which to me just remains the best example of what you can do with words. The words just bounce off the page. They jump and they dance and they play. Reading each page and the entire book is a joy, I think, for almost everyone who does. And when you recall that this was translated from Spanish, he's Mexican. It's staggering because this shows a mastery of two languages. It's like a magic trick. I think it routinely makes any particular author's top 10 from everyone I've read, and it certainly deserves to keep doing so. There are many others, and I always feel sad to ever have to keep all this short. I'll just mention one last as he asked me the question. Kashio Ishiguro, who is Japanese but British. His first two, The Remains of the Day, which was made into a classic film now, and Never Let You Go, which another fine film as well. But read the books. Just a stunning use of language again, and astonishing vision. Yeah, you know, as I said, poems. I read poems by other authors, and there are several very good, but it tends to be novelists that seem to inspire the style of my particular style of writing.
What are you currently working on right now?
I am working on, well, I don't want to call it a sequel, but I do consider Primary Colors the first of a trilogy. The title of the next collection is called Valentine's Day. I hope to have it published in time for Valentine's Day 2023. The idea is a collection of poems about love, the very concept of love, not necessarily romantic. There's familial, paternal, what else? Other types, just the various which unrequited love, all these type of things that we would have encountered over the years, either through our own experiences and or through film, through the various ways, or through friends telling us their lamentations or their stories. I think there's a considerable field there, and I can certainly speak to past experiences, as well. It's taking shape well. I'm about 6 poems in, and I'm now on a bit of a deadline to have it complete by November so that I can begin the roll up for publication. I can share one with you if you would like, Miss Queenie.
Yes.
It's called Love Down, and it's a variation on lockdown. Trinidad experienced lockdown for over a year. I know the US had various challenges with it, but the term lockdown, as I said, the concept, it just inspired some words that way. So speaking to Love Down now, and from ashes spring the dimes and lines, sponge love and sauce. From that floor comes along card cuttings and scrapped homework paper. There are so many cooked dishes and new peas, one step in front of each other, and up and over and into home safely. Sky-high moods sometimes shaded. A cocoon hatched yet another day to the sun. Cinnamon smells and wafted warm honey, and hugs and music and lessons learned. And that is Love Down. You'll notice a particular cozy feel about it, and it really just comes with the time spent with my son. It's him, and I'm a single dad. and largely inspired by our cycle of life that evolved that way as the school became virtual, work became virtual. We got into cycles of cooking and simple pleasures, playing cards with board games, sports outside in the yard, etc. There was nowhere to go for some time. And we are, despite the traumas experienced by the world and a lot of sadness in terms of the deaths and the stories of the illness, there was, I don't think we were alone in detailing that there was a lot of joy, a lot of time to think and reflect on yourself, on your circumstance, and to share quality time that you may not otherwise have if the typical work a day, school a day thing was going on. And I just thought I wanted to mark that time in the history, certainly of our lives, with that one. And again, it would have started as a 2-pager, but chiseled down to just the essence of the experience.
Okay. What book events do you have planned for the remainder of the year?
There have been several book events for Primary Colors already. It's received a good share of media attention in Trinidad and promotion abroad through Facebook, through the various social media sites, through Amazon and yourself. I believe there's just one other matter of a book reading in the States. I'm presently in Minnesota, touching on some of that as well. Before I start putting myself now into focus about Valentine's Day, the Valentine's Day project. Mm-hmm. So Primary Colors, I think it's been a great run, and any additional support or boost I can give it for sure. But I want to see out the additional projects, and I'm sure we'll certainly be in touch when that comes around.
Okay, thank you. How can readers find you and your book?
The book is available on Amazon. It's Colors, I should mention to American listeners and viewers. COLOURS. That's how we spell it in the Caribbean. We fall under, through heritage by the British colonial system. So the spelling is slightly different for some words. So Primary Colors are Jonathan Cumberbatch. You can just Google and it should guide you there. It's available on Audible as well, the audio version, and available on Kindle.
Are you the narrator for the Audible?
Oh, yes. And we're very proud how that turned out. Got some little steel pan to listen to in the background. And yeah, it's a quality product, if I say so myself. And I forgot to mention, you can check us out on YouTube as well. There's quite a few videos around the whole Primary Colors campaign.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to add before we close?
Oh no, just thank you for the opportunity to help push the word out about this little collection, this humble collection of mine. Just to encourage everyone who may be thinking about it. And I heard Spike Lee say it years ago too. If you're thinking about making a movie, just start making a movie. just get to it. As I said, there I've mentioned Edna White as an independent publisher who will and literary midwife who can help you through any queries or concerns to get your manuscript to the outside world. Yeah, the tools are there. I please use it, and everyone is free, of course, to contact me. As you know, I'm a writer, but I'm also a business professional. You can contact me via my LinkedIn profile and otherwise. Yeah, so I'm always able to help.
Well, thank you for coming in today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, this is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews. Happy reading. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Thank you.